Men and women are equals, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you scriptural proofs to back that up. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications, and let's just get into it. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, when it was time to create mankind, he said in the book of Genesis 1 and verse 26, he said, "Let us create man in our own image, after our own likeness, that they may rule over the earth, subdue it, and have control over the fish and the seas and everything that he has put on earth." The man that he was referring to here is our inner man, as in the spirit being, as in the man in us that connects to him. So the man in a woman is the man in a man. After creating mankind, he said in verse 28, "And God blessed them and said unto them, Be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth." So we see that after creating mankind, the mankind, like I stated earlier, is our inner being, our spirit man. Then he gave us earthly vessels, and then he said male and female, he created them. So our genders are just physical containers. These are just bodies. At the end of the day, when we die, it's our spirit being that goes up to God for judgment. It is a spirit being that will be judged. So man is a tripartite being. We have body, soul, spirit. The man he was referring to was our spirit being. So, in that being clearly stated, patriarchy was never God's intended design. It only came into the picture as a result of the fall of mankind. It came into the picture as a curse, as we can see later on in Genesis 3 and verse 10, where he was laying out the judgments for disobedience of Adam and Eve. And that was the first time that God mentioned, "And he will rule over you." But in the beginning, it was not so, because his original design was, "And he blessed them, and he said unto them, Be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth." Do you understand? Okay, so patriarchy was a curse. Patriarchy is dominance of one gender over the other. But God's original design was dominion. Dominion of both men and women to rule and to reign and to subdue the earth. Do you understand? So Jesus, what he did for us was he died on the cross, that God's original intentions, God's original design be restored. So what he did was he restored the dominion of man back to us. So when you give your life to Christ, automatically you have been set free from the curse of the law. Patriarchy is just one of the many curses that came into existence as a result of disobedience, okay? Like poverty, sickness, death. Patriarchy is also a curse of the law. But what Jesus did was that he freed us from the curse of the law. And it's written in Galatians 5 and 1. And it says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Do not subject yourselves to any form of bondage anymore." So, what is this trying to say? That every form of bondage, be it sickness, poverty, diseases, there are other ones too, but these are the three ones at the top of my head. These things he has freed us from. And if you still have further doubts as to whether God restored dominion would restore dominion to women, look at Micah 4 and verse 8. Here it says, "And the former dominion shall be restored unto the daughter of Zion." If you identify as a Christian woman, if you have given your life to Christ, you are a daughter of Zion. And the former dominion that was given to you, that was taken from you, as a result of the fall of man, has been restored to you in Christ. So we are living in accordance, in alignment with God's original design, which is dominion and not dominance. So with this truth in place, now that we have understood this, Why is the church still spreading subjugative messages? Why is the church still preventing women from preaching, from teaching, from occupying prominent leadership positions, when it is clearly stated that we have been redeemed, we are the redeemed of the Lord, that have been set apart, called apart to be the salt and the light? Because if God has released the Spirit on both men and women, it is written in the book of Joel, and I will pour out my Spirit upon my sons and my daughters, and they will prophesy and dream dreams and see visions. So would God put his Spirit in us at redemption only to have us sidelined or play secondary roles? The church has narrowed down women's existence and women's roles to just being the homemaker, to just being the child raiser. But that is not so, because God has called us to do great things alongside men. We are to rule and reign as them. Both of us are leaders. We are equals. In the book of Galatians 3:28, it says there is neither no male or female. God has made us all one in Christ. So pastors, please stop preaching subjugative messages in the name of submission. And the submission that is usually the submissive messages that are preached in church is not even what God's original intention was. I will do a separate video on that later, on the true meaning of submission, the submission that reflects God's heart. But what we hear in church is women be oppressed, allow a man to control you. That is what we hear, and that does not reflect, that message does not reflect the heart of God. So what am I saying in essence? Men and women are free, and yes, patriarchy exists in the church, and it is up to you as a woman to stand up for it and to stand against it, because feminism is a God idea. It was his original design. You are not doing anything shocking, you're not doing anything rebellious by wanting to be in a position of leadership. Because if God has planted a desire in you, it is because he made you for that. Because if he didn't make you for that, then he wouldn't make you desire those things. Do you understand? So, women, I need you to believe you are not inferior to a man. I need you to believe that if God has called a man to do great things, he also called you and I to do great things. And it is our responsibility to make sure that no one dissuades us from the truth with subjugative messages or disqualifies us based on our gender. If you are in an environment that constantly permits women to shrink and tells women to remain oppressed, then that environment is not for you. I hope this message reaches the right people, and I hope women can begin to walk in their true identity as co-heirs of the kingdom, as queens that they are, ordained, restored, redeemed by God. In my next video, I'll be talking about submission, what God's original meaning behind submission was, and how it is so different from what is preached and practiced in the church today. See you in my next video. Bye.